My apologies. Okay.
Ooh, it's brightening. Hello. Hello, everybody. Like, we're making sure that it works. We'll probably come on the live stream here in a bit. So don't wait for it. While we do that. Oh, there we are. Yeah. All right. Awesome. I do think it works. So let me just triple check that. Okay, it does work. It does work.
Awesome.
All right. So let's get started. Hi, my name is Leah. I'm a mental wellness peer educator for CAPS. I'm joined by
Nick, I am also a mental wellness peer educator here at CAPS, and today we are presenting to you our mood wellness workshop. And a couple of notes that Leah will share before we get started.
So before we get started, we just want to establish that this is not a therapy group. This is meant to be a sort of educational kind of workshop or kind of presentation that helps, educate students about our mood, how we can manage our mood, and what that looks like. And another thing would be that we cannot promise confidentiality, but what we can do is keep everything within the workshop. So in case anyone shares anything, we just keep it within the confines of this workshop. So let's get started.
So first, let's establish our objectives for this workshop. Our first objective is that we want to learn how to identify our emotions, as well as learn how to understand and accept difficult emotional experiences, while also increasing our skills to manage painful emotions, while increasing positive emotional experiences. So now I would like to know, feel free to put in chat, what sheep do you feel like today on the sheep scale? Personally, I am a 1 and a 3.
I feel like I'm a 3 as well with a bit of a 4. So, you can take this home with you and identify how you feel today. Oh, the lights went out, but that's totally fine. It'll adjust itself. Just know that our moods can look different from day-to-day basis, even within like a couple of minutes or hours. That can look different for everyone. So let's talk about factors that often impact graduate students. So we want to talk about managing imposter syndrome. So imposter syndrome is a term that was coined in like the 70s by psychologists Dr. Plant and Imez, referring to like high achieving individuals who like are unable to internalize their accomplishments and fear being exposed as a fraud. So just a few strategies to manage imposter syndrome would be recognizing that imposter syndrome exists, talking about it, as well as making sure that we don't minimize our successes. We want to eliminate words like just, only, or simply. So we want to make sure that we acknowledge that whatever achievements we've achieved are that they are feats, they are not something that we should be taking lightly. And we also want to utilize interdependence, which is pair independence with dependence. So we also want to have a life balance strategies, like managing multiple roles as a graduate student can be challenging. So we need to navigate boundaries. We need to accept that it's okay to say no or not right now. Like we have social lives. We also have family time that we want to get to, but maybe we may not necessarily be doing something that that benefits our mental health. It may not benefit our emotions. So maybe we want to be sure to sort of establish those boundaries just so that we respect our own limitations. When we say no to others, we say yes to ourselves, which is right under that bullet point. We also want to make sure we're prioritizing self-care and know that you are deserving of rest, know that you need rest in order to function. And then lastly, we also have our graduate student support group, if that is a resource that interests you. It is a drop-in group that happens, I believe, every Wednesday through Zoom. And this support group essentially helps graduate students be able to bond with fellow graduate students and help support them through navigating these different difficulties that come with being graduate students. So let's talk about emotions. So we have here the cognitive triangle. This involves thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And in the middle, all of these can result in a resultant behavior or action. So we want to establish the difference between emotions and feelings. We want to establish that feelings are a result of a belief system or interpretation about an event or experience. So feelings are more on the physical sensations that we kind of feel. And we'll go more into that in the next couple of slides. So you can see here that anything can start in this triangle right here. So let's just say I'm bad at math, for example. We can see that that arrow leads to the bottom right, where it says, oh, we feel this kind of like tightness in our chest. And then it can spiral into anxiety. And then anxiety will spiral into thoughts of not feeling safe. So we can see that, it can essentially go in this little like loop or kind of spiral until it results in a resultant behavior or action. For example, like you don't feel safe, so you don't follow directions very well, or maybe you're acting out or you can't focus. So this is just an example of how different thoughts, feelings, and emotions can lead to one another and lead to different actions.
Let's go ahead and have another look at how these thoughts can fuel our feelings and our emotions, as well as the behaviors / actions that we can take to intervene on those thoughts. So let's go to the thought, people can help me with what I need when I ask for help. So this is a much more open-minded look or approach to a potentially struggling situation. One example being if someone is struggling with math, like we saw in a previous example, someone may choose to not ask for help. Whereas if someone recognizes that they can ask for help, they can help ease those symptoms of sweaty palms, and worry and fear. And by choosing to take the action of asking for help, it will help them reach mental ease and have confidence when they do ask for that help. Now, let's go ahead and look at the previously mentioned example of I am so bad at math. If this is the thought that we tell ourselves, it can lead to the feelings of tightness in our chest, maybe sweaty palms, which if no action is taken to intervene on that thought, then it could affect our emotions to where we're just raw with worry and fear and taken straight back to that same thought. However, if we recognize I can control my brain and take care of my feelings, that can be done through taking actions such as doing breathing exercises to reach a sense of calm. And then we can reassess the situation and ask ourselves, what do I need to do to solve the problem?
So we want to introduce y'all to a short acronym called PLEASE. This is just to help encourage, overall stable mood, help kind of like control it or help help keep maintaining, like I said, a more calm, more healthy level of mood. So it's called PLEASE. So P and L stands for treating physical illness. E stands for eating healthy. A is to avoid mood altering drugs unless prescribed. S is for sleeping well, and then lastly, E is for exercise. So we also want to highlight that we want to place importance on positive events. Most of the time when we are feeling a certain way, we may tend to focus on negative events that happen to us, but it's also important to acknowledge that positive events exist as well. So like the slide says, we want to focus on positive experiences. We can also put our experiences in a different perspective, like focusing on the bigger picture. So let's say that maybe you got rejected from a job interview. You can put it in a different perspective, like maybe this is a redirection towards something better. And then lastly, we also want to acknowledge even the smallest of positive actions. Maybe someone helped you pick up some papers that you dropped, or even like helping somebody carry their bags to their car, grocery bags to their car. So we want to make sure that we acknowledge and place importance to these positive events in our life.
Now, let's take a look at opposite action. So we touched on this a little bit earlier, but it's important to keep in mind that our emotions cause us to react and move in certain ways. So what might that look like? One example with emotions that are typically considered frustrating and challenging emotions are fear, anger, and sadness. When we experience fear, we may feel the urge to run away and avoid whatever it is that we feel fearful of. One example being public speaking or giving a wellness workshop. But we implore you to take the opposite action of approaching that situation, going anyways and participating fully. And when it comes to the uncomfortable emotion of anger, our initial urge can be to attack, whether that be physically or verbally. But opposite action would be to gently avoid that situation or that person, to be kind and to attempt to see this scenario from their perspective. And when it comes to the emotion of sadness, we may feel the urge to withdraw. However, we implore you to be with others and increase activities so that you do not become stuck in that emotion. And that's pretty much the point for all of them. Opposite action can be taken to help us exit these uncomfortable emotional experiences. So let's check the facts. Do not believe everything that you think, because our thoughts are not 100% facts. If you're stuck on a negative thought, make sure to ask yourself, is it true? So more often than not, we're going to immediately tell ourselves, yes, it is true. And that's because our brain is on autopilot and it's going to just quickly react to that thought and tell us, yes, this is the absolute truth. But you really need to delve deeper and ask yourself, is it really the absolute truth? And is there any way that you could look at this situation from a different perspective? And then ask yourself, how does this thought make you feel? So the example that I've been using, I'm so bad at math, that thought can make someone feel sad or angry or disheartened when they have to take a class that has math. And let's go to the question, what would things be like if I didn't hold this belief? So the example of math, if I didn't hold the belief that I was so bad at math, but I just believed I was struggling, I could be more encouraged to go to office hours, to ask for help, to do more studying, and to be motivated by the fact that I can improve rather than saying I'm so bad at this thing.
So we have another acronym here just to be able to kind of step back and kind of acknowledge our different moods and emotions. So it's called STOP. So the first thing to do would be to stop in that moment. T is for taking a deep breath. O is for observing, checking in on like your body, how you're feeling, pull back and change perspective. And then lastly, practice what works for you. So we also want to let go of emotional suffering. We want to establish that we are not our emotions. What we can do is observe our emotions and acknowledge that they exist. We don't want to judge or reject our emotions because emotions are not inherently good or bad. And we also want to acknowledge that experiencing emotions is like a wave, it comes and goes. And then we also want to practice creating distance from our emotions and feelings and thoughts. So, for example, some people say like, I am angry, or I will fail. Instead of saying that, you can opt for the thought of, I'm having the feeling of anger, or I'm having the thought that I will fail, or I think I will fail. We kind of want to separate our thoughts and feelings and emotions from ourselves because they may not necessarily be true. And, we want to be more compassionate to ourselves.
So now we're going to watch a video centered around mindfulness. It's very cute. So I would love to hear anyone's thoughts in the comments after.
There is a story, usually attributed to the Native American tradition, which illuminates different ways of paying attention. An elder, talking to a child, says, I have 2 wolves fighting in my heart. One wolf is fearful, vengeful, envious, resentful, and deceitful. The other wolf is compassionate, loving, generous, truthful, and peaceful. The child asks, which wolf will win the fight? The elder responds, the one I feed. That doesn't mean we try to deny or hurt or kill the angry wolf. If we did that, we'd end up in a long battle, all the while somehow making that wolf more powerful through our hostility and fear. Hating that wolf sucks the strength right out of us. Instead, we calmly pay attention to the angry wolf and let go of believing they have the answers. If we can do that, they end up lying down next to us, no longer an enemy. We help strengthen the kind and loving wolf, giving it nourishment and support so that we can follow it. That peaceful wolf can become our steady companion and show us the way through all kinds of different life experiences. Restful or chaotic, enjoyable or disappointing experiences may come and go, but we can have a guide with us through it all. This is what mindfulness can help you do. Mindfulness allows us to see our thoughts and feelings as they are beginning. It's very powerful to know what we're feeling as we're feeling it, know what we're thinking as we're thinking it. With mindfulness, we can choose what will strengthen and bring into action, and we can choose what we will gently let go of. We don't have to be at the mercy of old habits or old ways of thinking or old ways of being. We are empowered. It just takes practice.
So that is the end of the video. What did you think of the video, Nick?
I really enjoyed that video. I've seen it many times, but it's very cute. I really like the message.
Yeah, like, we acknowledge that we're like, the red wolf, the kind of like, things we associate with negativity, it exists. And then we want to foster, but kind of, foster and help the more positive and, kind-hearted wolf within us. So it's great.
Now, let's go ahead and look at a couple of our resources. So as students here at CSUF, a resource available to you is U.Fullerton. So what U.Fullerton is a wellness platform surrounded, encompassing everything from mental and physical health articles to articles talking about professional development and networking here on campus. You could also see different topics that other students are interested in. And there's a whole bunch of really great information and tips on this website. So I highly recommend it for personal and professional development.
So this is an example of a wellness activity that you can find on U. So like Nick said, there are all sorts of different resources on U, including mental health resources. And if you join me, we can do like a round or two of this breathing technique called box breathing. So essentially, we would breathe in for 4 seconds, hold that breath for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds, and then hold again for 4 seconds. So we want to establish that, this is a grounding technique that we use to reset and slow our breathing down and help us have like a greater mental clarity. So if you join me, I'll count us off. So let's breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4. Then hold. 2, 3, 4. More round. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4. Then hold. 2, 3, 4. So this is just an example of a kind of exercise that we can integrate into our lives, just to sort of ground ourselves in the moment and, just help us out, stabilize our mood, stabilize our breathing and all that. So that's something you can take home with you and integrate into your daily. So another resource that we have available to us students at Cal State Fullerton is Compass. So Compass is a directory of different essential resources such as food, housing, mental health resources, safety resources, different things like that. So you can sort these by how urgently you need these resources, and essentially the website will give you all of their the contact information of different resources on and off campus within the Orange County area. So if this is something that interests you, or as well as you can also give this to your friends. Compass is a really good resource just to be able to find different essential resources, like I said.
So now let's talk a little bit more about self-compassion and how to be kind to yourself. And I will start by reading off a quote by Kristen Neff that reads, "Instead of mercilessly judging and criticizing yourself for various inadequacies or shortcomings, self-compassion means you are kind and understanding when confronted with personal failings." And we have the opportunity to do this every single day, whether it be a big failure or a small failure, or even if it's a big win or a little win, there is always an opportunity to give ourselves some self-compassion. Now, if you are interested in knowing more about where you fall on the self-compassion scale, once again by Neff, you can go ahead and scan that QR code right there. And if you would like to know more about self-compassion and the impact of positive affirmations by looking over a worksheet, then you can go ahead and scan the QR code in the bottom right.
So next, these are just things that you're able to take home with you and scan those QR codes. So the first one is our Mood Wellness Packet, which sort of gives some activities involved with our workshop as well as other information. And then we have our Mood Wellness handout on the right, which is essentially like a summary of our entire presentation, goes over the most important points. So in case you'd like to take these home with you, feel free to scan those codes and they will be available to you. But next, I just want to go over our CAPS resources. So once again, we are Counseling and Psychological Services. We are located here at Titan Hall, 1st and 3rd floors. So you're going to find us at that intersection across State College Boulevard and North State College Boulevard and Dorothy Lane across TSU. So this is where we have our different resources. The ones in blue are ones we can access on our own, like the different websites we have, including our CAPS Instagram. The resources in green are more low commitment kind of resources, such as doggy therapy, when we invite different dogs onto campus so that students can interact with them. We also have our wellness room, which is located at Titan Hall, where you're going to find our massage chairs and napping pods. We also have different drop-in groups, therapy groups that are hosted by our licensed clinical counselors. And we also have this wellness workshop we are hosting right now. We also have case management and off-campus referrals. And then these resources in the yellow are more so resources that are more high commitment, such as individual short-term therapy, psychiatry services, even group therapy services, single session massage therapy, different things like that. And lastly, our red resources would be our crisis resources. So in case any students are in distress, you're able to call our 24-hour crisis hotline, even through holidays, even on weekends. And we also have a mobile crisis team. Our crisis team is on campus, and if a student is on distress on campus, CAPS and UPD can help assist.
So thank you all so much for attending. We would love to have y'all fill out our anonymous evaluation. So if you would like to, please go ahead and scan this QR code and let us know how we did today.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you all so much for tuning in. This will be up on YouTube for the graduate students who couldn't make it to the presentation. And we're so grateful to be able to present this to y'all. So thank you all so much.
Bye.